I'm going to show you an example of flipping the classroom. It's an idea where you have the students work on something outside of class, and then during the actual class time, you're able to help them through whatever they're supposed to be doing. So for this flipped example, I'm going to be using 3 tools. Prezi.com, which allows you to have a wide open canvas and design it exactly how you want, so you're showing the students exactly what they need to see. I'm using screencast-o-matic.com, which allows me to record what I'm doing on my screen, so I'm able to show students things rather than them just looking at my face the whole time. And then, of course, a microphone to record what I'm saying. The topic I'm using for my example is called the manor system. It is an elaborate farming system that was used in the medieval times. This is a prezi that I actually used in my class. So what I first would do is I would explain to the students at this point that while they watch, they need to jot down all the components of the manor system and kind of have an idea of the layout of where everything is located. The manor system didn't have a distinct layout, but some things did relate to each other in certain ways. So I would tell them going in what the expectation was while they were watching, and then while they watched, they were able to write things down, pause it, so they don't get left behind, that they can keep up, things of that nature. So with the manor system, what happens first is I'm just going to zoom out here so you can see kind of the format, the idea I went with. I start up here with just the river, and then as we go down, I'm going to just add parts to it, and then at the bottom we'll have the completed picture of the manor system. So I'm going to just add pieces to it each time, and then we'll eventually get to the whole picture. So let's just kind of zoom in. We start with the river. I would explain that this is a very important part of the manor system. So then we have our river, and then we start adding all the components. So I add in some buildings. With Prezi, I would be able to zoom in to give the students a closer look so they can actually see the pictures. Okay, and then we'd go on to the next slide. As you can see, I added a few more things. We put in the orchard, and then I added the forest, and kind of talk a little bit about how they were used and why they were located on the outside edges of the manor system. To the next picture, we see a few more things. I added just the barn, and I added the common pasture, just more components of the manor system. And then I'd point out the peasants would actually live. The peasants would be the farmers. They would live on the manor system in their own little village, and this would allow the students to see kind of what that would look like. And then to the completed picture, we have added the 3-field rotation, and I talk about what that means and why they would use these crops and what the fallow field was. I'd point out that the 3-field rotation, the farming, is done by the peasants who lived in the village, so the village and the fields were right next to each other. So that's kind of an important concept to understand. And then we take one look at the completed picture, and the students again would have a chance to pause it, write things down, and be able to get out of this Prezi what they needed to. Then in the class the next day or the next couple days, we would then try to diagram our own to help us understand the components and everything that's involved. So this is a flipped example. Good luck.